Okay. Okay, cool. So basically what we're going to be doing is we are going to be running through the beginning part of the routine. Now, this starts with the solar plexus and adrenal, which we've talked about before. Then we go to the hot towel wrapping, and then we go to the relaxation techniques. So the solar plexus reflex is right on the diaphragm guideline, which is just below the ball of the foot. Yeah, so just a little bit south of the distal heads of the metatarsals on that diaphragm guideline, and it's in line with the third toe. We're going to take 2 thumbs, slightly bend them to protect that joint, and then just hook into those 2 ditches. We'd hold that for 30 seconds. Okay? So that's our first point. Then after that 30 seconds, we're going to move to the adrenals. The adrenals are a little bit more complicated to map. I know you can see it really sink in. Yeah, good stuff. Well, that's all Grace. Grace did that. With Rob already got work done today. So with the adrenal gland requires a little bit more intricate mapping. So we're going to take that same diaphragm guideline, then we're going to find the proximal head of the 5th metatarsal, which is our waistline guideline, which if you need, you can always check on the foot map. And then in between the 1st and 2nd toe, in between that 1st and 2nd metatarsal, halfway in between those 2 guidelines. Okay? You're just medial to that thick plantar tendon. And again, you're feeling for that nice little ditch to just hold into. And that's our adrenal reflex. And we're going to hold that for 30 seconds. So those are our 2 points. We start and end the session with those 2 points. Very much like taking the pulse of a client before and after the work. Okay? After those first 2 points, we're going to do our hot towels. These are dry, but we're going to imagine that they're piping hot, and we'll get the hot ones in just a second when we go through it all together. And then a dry towel. Okay? We have our fleece underneath to help keep in the heat. And we're going to take our first, mailman, we're going to take our first hot towel, open it up, let it dry just a little bit, and cool down. You don't want to scald the person. Then we're going to place it a little bit on one side, a lot on the other side, and a 2-inch flap for the toes. Okay? That way we can hold the foot, take all the excess, swipe it underneath, wrap the toes, and tuck over. If you did it right, it should stay. It should stay without you needing to hold it. Okay? It'll be a lot easier with the wet towel. And then immediately the fleece goes over, under, press in, wrap over, creating this nice little booty. Okay? And then we press. We just want to get all that heat into the foot. And the fleece helps us do that. If we didn't have something covering the hot towel, it would get twice as cold, twice as fast. Okay? We go to our other side, do the exact same thing. Open up the hot towel, cool it off a little bit, unless you don't like Rob. And then we're going to put a lot on one side, a little bit on the other, and then 2-inch flap for the toes. Bring the excess underneath, tuck the toes, and wrap over. Again, yeah? If it's tight, it shouldn't move. Then immediately with the fleece, over, under, press in, wrap over. Creating that nice little booty, and press. Okay, back to the other foot, press again. Again, any opportunity to really get the last bits of heat into the tissues. That's what the hot towels are for. They're not just feel-good stuff, they're therapeutically beneficial. They bring circulation, as well as if the client has a little bit of gnarliness on their feet, gets all that scrubbed off. Then we discard that hot towel, take our dry towel, and wrap the foot exactly like we did with the hot towel. Little bit on one side, a lot on the other side, 2-inch flap for the toes, underneath, tuck the toes, wrap over. Then we're going to shimmy the foot dry 3 times. Just a really nice, vigorous back and forth, getting any last bits of moisture off the foot, because that's really what we want to make sure, is that the foot isn't wet or cold. Okay? Then this side of the towel is now wet, but the other side is now dry. So we get to use the other side of the towel for the next foot. Over to that left foot, press, last bits of heat in, unwrap the fleece, press again, get any last bits of heat. Also feel for where the towel went cold. That'll give you an idea of where the wrapping wasn't tight enough. Discard. Then a little bit on one side, a lot on the other side, 2-inch flap the toes, under, tuck, wrap over. Shimmy dry. Getting any last bits of moisture off the feet. Okay? Then to start our routine, we're going to do the entire routine on the right side. So we're going to leave the dry towel on the left side and re-wrap the fleece over it. Okay? So it stays nice and warm and dry and cozy while we do the entire routine on the right foot. Okay? Now we go to our relaxation techniques. The relaxation techniques we put in other videos. You have lots of experience with this. Cody's going to shift to get a better angle. And we're going to start with our sloppy Susans. So hole in the center of the hand, and the palm of the hand goes to each bunion area on either side. Fingers stay nice and loose. And we're going to vigorously, not necessarily slap, but love tap the foot back and forth. Get a lot of wiggling. You can see it's going all the way up the hip into the neck, getting a lot of nice jostling throughout the body. That sloppy Susans going down to military train. We're going to address the malleoli and the talus. So that same openness in the palm of the hands. We're going to suction cup to the medial and lateral malleoli. Get a nice grip. And then we're basically rotating the talus. So we want to go one hand forward, one hand back. Direct the ankle. Ooh, nice little pop there. And just speed it up. Military train. Again, you can see the entire body is vibrating. These relaxation techniques aren't just for the feet. Following that, we do our calf massage all the way to the back of the knee. Squeeze, pull, release. Squeeze, pull, release. Squeeze, pull, release. All the way down. Just one pass, about 10 seconds, nothing too fancy. If you don't, they spontaneously combust, Mary. We can't have that. Okay. After calf massage, then we do push-pull. Push-pull, we're going to take our outside hand, so the hand that's on the outside of the foot. Outside hand will shift when we're on the other side, so always remember outside hand makes a fist to the ball of the foot. That's our battering ram. And then the inside hand comes below the bunion area to catch that momentum. We're going to lean in and pull back. Push-pull. Nice wave-like motion. Then move the fist down. Couple pumps. And down. Couple pumps. That's our push-pull. So nice movement all throughout the metatarsal area. Then we're going to warm up the heel with our heel rotation. Outside hand scoops underneath the heel. Really keep that heel nice and steady. And then we're going to take a little bit of cream. Gloss the plantar surface of the heel. Make a fist, thumbs up, thumb points just out, inside rather, of that big toe. Then we're going to push and twist. Again, you can see how the entire body is moving with the technique. This will also soften and circulate that really rough and thick heel tissue. Last relaxation technique, we're going to address the spinal reflexes, which is the first area that we walk with our thumb walking. So we're going to end our relaxation techniques by warming up the first area that we're going to apply our thumb walk to. Outside hands just cradles the lateral side of the foot for leverage. Inside hand makes a fist. Depending on how thick the arch is, you want to either choose the sharp knuckles or the flat part of the knuckles. If they have a lot of really thick muscle tissue, a lot of fluid through here, then feel free to use the sharp knuckles to rock into that arch. But if they don't really have a lot of meat, then you don't want to go bone on bone. So use that flat part of the knuckles to then, from the pelvic guideline to the diaphragm guideline, rock into those spinal reflexes for about 10 seconds. I normally get about 3 passes in, all the way, and then reset. Okay, and those are our relaxation techniques. Then we would start spine, toes, dorsal, and proceed through the routine that way. Okay, so let's do all of that in real time. Okay, so this is a client that I'm seeing. They're on the table, they're all ready, and let's go through the entire kind of first part of the routine together. So, solar plexus, Literally just counting in my head. 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 30. Then adrenal reflex. Once you get good, you don't really have to measure. You just want to feel for that ditch and then sink right into it. 30 seconds. Now we do hot towels, so I'm going to reach over Cody. Oh, those heated up beautifully. Okay. First towel, open. A little bit on one side, a lot on the other. Underneath, tuck the toes a little bit faster, just to make sure that the heat doesn't escape, and press. Also part of that press, I'm kind of tucking in any loose ends from that wrap just to make sure that it's all nice and solid. Okay, this one actually got a little bit cold on me, so I'm going to immediately wrap right into that foot. Fleece comes over, under, press in, wrap over, press. Okay, back to the other foot, press. Squeezing out any last bits of heat into the foot. Unwrap. Press again. Ooh, this one stayed nice and warm. Throw it at Grace.
Ooh.
Or Mary.
Almost Jody, but...
Almost Jody.
You're trying them all.
It was almost a threefer.
Yeah.
Okay, shimmy dry.
You just want to wake us up.
I did. Y'all are too quiet back there. I get worried when you're too quiet. Okay, do it one more time just to make sure. Okay, wet underneath is dry. So we're just gonna keep that dry. Press. Press. Dry. Fleece comes on top. Left foot is complete. It can now rest. Then we start with our relaxation techniques on the right foot. Sloppy Susans. Military train. Calf massage. Push-pull. Heel rotation, a little bit of cream. Push and twist. And knuckle roll. All the way up the arch. And 3. And that is the beginning of our routine. Then we would move into walking that right foot, wrap the right foot after we're done. We'd do the relaxation techniques afterwards as well. Then we would do the entire routine on the left foot, finish with the hot towels, then solar plexus adrenal, and done. Okay?
So it's 30 minutes?
Hope you guys like that.